Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you today. We have the Asher Knives Spiro in the new titanium Framelock G10 version. 85 bucks, not bad at all for S35VN and a titanium Framelock, but launching I think tomorrow on the Spiro site is the time that I'm recording this, which is Saturday the 24th. There is a full titanium version for only $7.50 more, if that floats your boat a bit more. I happen to like the look of the G10. It's contoured on that side, and I think it looks a little bit better with the right-hand, left-hand carry configuration than the titanium one does. But to each his own. I do think it's a pretty cool design. There's a lot of stuff to like about it, especially for those specs for 85 bucks. And Asher Knives, guy that runs the place, awesome dude, really cool to deal with. They do come out in fairly limited batches, but they're not super hard to get your hands on. And I wouldn't worry about this video changing that too much. So go check them out, asherknives.com. There'll be a link down below. But I do like the overall look of it. Very simple. Nothing really super complicated. That is kind of a theme of a lot of their designs, and that's not an insult to me. I like stuff that just looks, fairly kind of just basic and straightforward, and this definitely fits in that category. It is running on ceramic bearings, so yeah, no flipper tab, thumb stud only, which I don't mind that a bit. Yeah, pretty cool. Let's do some specs and some size comparisons before we get too much farther here. Now, I will say I'm taking some of these from their site because my calipers have gone all cattywampus on me, so I think they need a new battery. So I have to take some of them from there. So we have a blade length of 3 1/4 inches, overall length of about 7.3 inches, blade thickness about 0.10 inches, handle thickness about 0.43 inches, and a weight of 3.46 ounces. And on to the size comparisons. Let's do your Spyderco Para 3 and the Paramilitary 2. As usual, we try and line the pivots up here. So you can see it is getting, it's not uncommon with the Para 3, it is getting a lot more cutting edge crammed into a smaller package, or at the very least same size package as the Para 3. And we'll bring out the usual Benchmades. We have your full-size Bug Out, which is also a 3 1/4 inch blade knife. A little bit shorter than that, and the 940. Quite a bit shorter than that. And then lastly, we'll bring out the Civivi Elementum, which is a knife that I think this probably does compare to a little bit. The Elementum is a liner lock, but still, as was the original version of the Spiro, was also a liner lock. And a little bit shorter blade. So yeah, a little bit smaller knife. And the Backlash, which is going to be larger. And there you go. What do I think about this knife? Now, like I said, unfortunately, my calipers are all screwy today, so I couldn't do the thickness behind the edge. It feels pretty thin, and I've been using this a fair, but I have had this for, I don't know, well over a week and been carrying it as much as I possibly could. It feels very thin behind the edge. It's probably under 20 thousandths behind the edge, but I don't really know for sure because, again, my calipers are wonky. But anyway, it came pretty sharp out of the box, pretty slicey. The S35 seems to act like S35. I don't think it's a horrible heat treat. I think it seems to be pretty decent. Pretty disappointing lack of sharpening choil. So like I said, it came pretty sharp out of the box, but that's a big old smile on there. I'd rather there be a sharpening choil there. That would be much, much better. But it is 85 bucks and the specs are pretty good. So I don't know how much it costs to do that and machining and stuff, but it would be really nice to see that. But honestly, as this review goes on, you'll see that's one of the few things I don't like about this knife. So other than that, yeah. But it is very slicey. Tip is maybe a bit dainty, but it looks worse than it is because of that swedge. Swedges always on camera make stuff look more dainty than it is. I'm actually pretty happy with it, and it's a nice, cool, just simple drop point blade shape. Very useful, for all kinds of stuff. As far as ergonomics go, pretty good. I'm not going to say great, but it can see it from where it's standing. It's this contoured side is very nice, which if you get the full tie one for a little bit more, it's going to be one flat slab. This does feel very comfortable. The G10 is definitely not like rough, but it does give you just that little bit extra grip. But I think what matters more is just that it's contoured a bit. You can feel that pocket clip, and you can feel back here, but it's not the end of the world. The thing that makes me call it good, not great, is I did immediately. It took me literally 15 seconds, but I took some sandpaper and cut down. There was a little edge, little burr right there in the machining. I'm not going to say that's like a design flaw. I think maybe it was just a QC thing or something. These are made in China and assembled here. And I think it was just a little QC thing. I think there's a little burr right there. It was a little sharp, literally 10 seconds and it was gone. With regular, like I think I used like 600 grit sandpaper and just went and it was gone. But there is that. So that's the thing that makes me back off a little bit on the ergos, but overall, pretty good. How does it carry? Pretty good. 3.46 ounces. It's a little over that ounce per inch thing, but not too crazy. And for a tie frame lock, even though one side is G10 and not tie, that is kind of unsurprising. But it does have a deep carry clip. It doesn't completely deep carry. There's still a little bit sticking out there, but I don't mind that. This is kind of about the ratio I like. The ones that are completely deep carry, sometimes they're a little harder to get out because you grab them and you have to grab the clip and there's too much putting pressure on it and blah, 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 blah. But this one you can still, there's a little bit to grab a hold of. I like it. I think it works really well. The pocket clip tension is excellent. It's not the handsomest pocket clip in the world, but it's fairly plain. But again, that kind of just fits with the personality of not just this knife, but Asher knives as a whole. And again, it's not a knock. I like the Asher. Just kind of makes well-priced, good basic stuff that just freaking works. And this pocket clip is pretty epitome of that. No flipper tabs, so super easy to get your hand past. Doesn't take up hardly any room in the pocket. Really good knife to carry. Again, it's not super lightweight like a bug out or anything like that. The Asher makes stuff like that. This is not that. It's a titanium frame lock. It's going to be a little bit heavier. I do believe that the liner lock version of this, which is still S35VN, the original Spiro, I do believe it's a little lighter. But as far as the action goes, it's running on ceramic bearings. It's pretty good. Fairly drop shutty, not amazingly so. I have not taken this apart. I have not lubed it or anything like that. This is just out of the box and carrying it for like a week. Not too bad. It does make a very satisfying sound, I will say. That's a very satisfying little click. I do like that a lot. I like the thumb studs. One person got one and messaged me and said they like hated the thumb studs. I think they're pretty nice. They're very easy to access. But again, I have knife reviewer thumb, and so my thumbs are pretty calloused in that area. So maybe there's some sharpness that I'm not feeling, but I don't think so. I think they're fine. They are removable, which will be very good for sharpening, which is again kind of frustrating. They thought of removable thumb studs, but didn't put a sharpening choil on it. Whatevs, I guess. But yeah, overall, I really like this for 85 bucks. And yes, it is made overseas, but it is assembled in America, and you're going to be dealing with one guy, and he's a super nice guy to deal with. It is right-hand, left-hand carry, by the way. I didn't mention that in the carry. And on the website, when you order one, you can specify whether it's right-hand, left-hand. I assume that that's just they swapped the clip. I don't think it's a left-hand liner lock. Somebody correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong. If it is, that's amazing. But I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm pretty sure it's just right-hand, left-hand, where they install the pocket clip. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool knife. And again, like I've said multiple times for several knives, it's something different. It's not your average Civivi. It's not your average whatever. It's just if you're a knife nerd and you have other knife nerd friends, it's cool to just have something a little bit different. And this is a little bit different. And yeah, again, the owner's a good dude. Yeah, I really like this. I think it's pretty darn cool. 85 bucks, and I think the full titanium one, people are going to perceive as an even bigger value for what 90 was it? I think it was 92.50 or something like that for full titanium bearing, frame lock, that's very inexpensive. So go check my AsherKnives.com again. It'll be linked down below. I've been Brian. Have a good one.